welcome, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Michelle is going to be one of 32 authors at the Fall Book Festival, October 18th in downtown Greer, South Carolina, at the historic Greer Depot, which is an adorable venue. Michelle, please share with us about your books. Tell us what you're bringing.
Okay, so I am the author of two books. Um, I wrote these quite a while back. My first one was written in 2012,
Okay.
and it's called Finding Our Missing Piece. And it's a
Mm,
story. It's a story about three friends who are always together. They always meet up at their favorite restaurant on the first Saturday of each new month. They are sharing ups and downs with their favorite cocktails. It's a great little friendship story, but there's a twist, and there's some things start to happen that cause
mm-hmm.
this twist in the story, and it's almost like, is their friendship going to stand the test from this um, trial that comes into their lives? So it's partially based on kind of it. Some of the storyline is true,
Hmm.
from my own experiences with a few of my friends, how we would meet the first Saturday of every month. We
Oh.
we didn't we didn't really have the the turmoil that these girls had, but I have been selling this book since 2012. I have a lot of really good reviews on this book. A lot of females like to buy it and say, "Oh, it was a great beach read. I read it at the beach. I
Mm.
took it on my vacation." And I've heard a lot of really good feedback from this book, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this could be my story, or this could, this aligns kind of with some of my friends and some of the things that we've had to go through to see if our friendship can stand, these ups and downs and trials." So that was my first book. Do you want me to show the picture, the front
Yes,
cover?
if you
Okay.
have covers,
So,
please do.
so there's the front cover. Trying to
Mhm.
get it in the okay.
Yep.
And some people say, "Oh, that looks like a nice beach read," and I'm like, "Well, I kind of did that on purpose." I was like, finding our missing piece. I live, near the beach, and I thought that would be
Mhm.
the perfect cover for a great beach day.
Mhm.
Okay, so my second book came along a couple years later, also a little bit older, 2014.
Mhm.
Um, it is called Fate Revealed.
Oh.
This story, it came to me on a cold October night.
Mm.
I was bored. I was bored. I got
What a better way to fill your time,
I
writing.
was. I was, and I love to write and just diddle daddle on the computer. So one October evening, I was kind of bored, pulled out my laptop, I started typing, and I said, "Oh, I like the beginning of this story. I don't know where it's going to go, but I like it." And
I love it. I love it.
so it ends up, it's about a young woman who comes back home to heal from a tragic event, and she's finding a new place, she's settling in, she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna do well." Mysterious gifts start appearing at her at her
Oh.
door, at her house. She goes to the grocery store. She feels like she's being watched. She starts coming over with paranoia. There's some paranoia going on. So she's while she's trying to heal, she's also thinking, is this normal to feel this way, or am I bringing the past with me? Am I bringing this tragedy with me?
Mm.
Am I not going to
Mhm.
heal? So a lot of there's twists and turns in this story. There is a stalker, and the thing that my readers love about this story is this, and I call him the antagonist. The antagonist, I should have said stalker because I gave it away, but anyway, the font changes when it's his thoughts and his words. So it's a dark, creepy font. And I did that on purpose.
Ooh.
Yes, I did that on purpose because I wanted the reader to make sure they weren't getting lost. It
Mhm.
wasn't, I purposely developed my characters so they would not get, the readers wouldn't get confused and lost. So a
Mhm.
lot of my readers say they really like how that font changes. They say it's very creepy, but they are able to keep up with who's doing what. Um,
Mhm.
I have yet to have one person tell me that they figured the antagonist out by the end of the story. Most of them think,
Oh.
yeah, and I did that on purpose. Most of them think the antagonist is a certain character, and
Mhm.
there's three or four that could be the antagonist. Um, Nobody so far has seemed to be able to get who the antagonist is. And so the big thing is by the end of the story, um, people are like messaging me, they're emailing me, they're calling me, and they're saying, I had no clue that's who it was. So
Nice.
I did it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I did it very much on purpose. Where I didn't want to totally lose the reader, but I didn't want them to figure it out by the middle of the story.
Right.
So you think you have it figured out, but then you don't.
Mhm.
It's that kind of story. So this one took me. Now this one took me a couple. I'd say off and on a couple years to write.
Okay.
But I was working full time. Between working full time and that, but I did want to do. I, like I said, I didn't want to lose the reader. I wanted to
Mhm.
have twists and turns, and I didn't want to confuse the readers either. So
Yeah.
I do. I've had a lot of people say, "I love this is a great suspense book, mystery suspense," and
Nice.
most of my people tell me like emails and that they say they'll email me and they'll say, "I started reading it, but I didn't want to put it down." So I got halfway through it, and then, like, I didn't get my cleaning done. I had one lady say that she missed her yoga class because she literally, she was like, "I missed my yoga class because I didn't wanna put your book down." And I was like, "Wow." So, I mean, I feel like,
Nice.
it's a
That is
it's a
awesome.
page turner, it's a page turner. Yeah, and I've got really good reviews also on this book on Amazon. So, I've had a lot of fun with these books. I have been at several book events, and I meet so many great people, and I love to meet people, and
Mhm.
whether they buy my book or not, I'm okay with that because I just love to meet people, and I have met so many new authors through this journey that have become
Mhm.
literally lifelong friends, and so it's been a great adventure for me.
So do you have that book cover for us?
Oh yes, I do. This is the book cover. I don't know if you
Mm.
can.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
trying to get it. Okay,
Yep.
so my name's on the bottom. So it's Fate Revealed. And this is actually my middle daughter on the front cover.
Oh,
So
nice.
she agreed. Yep, she agreed to be my cover model. So yeah. 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 So that is the journey through my two books.
Awesome. So you're not doing plotting, or do you plot your books? Because it sounds like they're kind of more of a pantser where you're writing, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah, it's kind of sometimes. Okay, so the story behind my first book, I woke up and I should have told the story of that. So when I woke up on my 40th birthday, I something told me to start writing. And
Hmm.
I was like, "Yes," and it was, like, in my head, and it wouldn't leave my head, and I was like, "Write what?" I'm like, "Write what?" So, I just got out at that time, I don't even know if I had a laptop, I think it was, like, just notebook paper, and I just started writing. I had, like, 25 pages of this
Nice.
sweet little story, and I was like, "What am I gonna do with this 25 pages?" And then I know, literally the next day, I sat down and I was like, "I'm gonna write some more." And I ended up going 40 pages, 60 pages. I'd never written that much in my life. And I started reading over it. I had a friend read over it, and they're like, "You need to publish it. You need to get this, in book form."
Hmm.
So it was really strange. And then I just after that, that got out and going. I didn't think about writing again until, like I said, that October evening.
Hmm.
Something was like, "Okay, you're gonna write again." So it's just yeah, it just kinda comes to me,
Hmm.
and the thoughts are there, and it's yeah, it's really strange. I just start typing or writing. And then I add to it. And if I'm somewhere, I always carry a notebook with me.
Mhm.
So if I'm thinking about the story, like if I'm in the middle of writing one of the stories, I'll get my notebook and I'll say, "Oh, I know exactly what I want. What I want to put in. I'm going to go ahead and jot these notes down."
Mhm.
But it just kind of comes to me. That's why it's hard for me because just sitting down saying, "Oh, I'm gonna just gonna write a story," it's almost like it has to come to me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, book 3.
yeah. so 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 fate revealed. I had a girl in New York. She had read it, and she
Mhm.
said, "You have to do a sequel to this." And I never thought about, going into a sequel with it.
Mhm.
And she said it lends itself so well to a sequel. Well, she wasn't the first one. Other people were saying, when is your next book going to be? And is it going to have to do with Fate Revealed? And so I got to thinking about the ending of the book, and I was like, yeah, it really does. It does lend itself to being able to, I didn't
Mhm.
see it as a writer of that book, I didn't see it as being a sequel. So I did start writing. I did
Mhm.
start typing. I was about 107 pages in, and just recently my hand hit something and deleted the whole file. So that's where I am right now
Ugh.
on the sequel. Yeah. So hopefully I will. I don't know. I've been thinking about, do I want to go ahead and try it again, or do I want to start a whole other type of book? So that's kind of where I am.
Oh,
That's where I am right now. That's been back and forth in my mind. Like, do
okay.
I want to just start something totally different? And so I don't know, but some of my people are waiting on that. Some of my people are waiting on that sequel. So I'm afraid I'm gonna, if I don't do that, I'm gonna be letting them down. But but Fate Revealed a little different. It's a little different story. There were a lot of strange things went on as I was writing
Mhm.
that book. I couldn't think of the antagonist's name. I couldn't think of what his name was going to be, and I just kept leaving blanks, blank, blank. I just kept
Mhm.
blanking space in it. And this is crazy, but one night I went to sleep and this word appeared in my dream, and the word was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was like flashing lights. And so it was so odd, and I woke up and it was like screaming this name, and it's not a name that you're really familiar with. And so I thought, what in the world? So the next day I started typing my book, and I said, oh my gosh, wait a minute, maybe that name is supposed to be in this story. So just and it's weird because I have, like, there's characters in this book that
Mhm.
I just created names, and I
Mhm.
met actual people with those names afterward and became friends with them. So there's just a lot it's like a lot of strange stuff went on
Mhm.
with this story. Yeah, it's very yeah. It's a little different. So, yeah, yeah, that's right.
So, maybe a sequel, maybe not a sequel, maybe
That's
a
what
sequel
I'm
down the road.
Possibly. Knowing me, the writing bug will probably hit me again, and I'll get started. And yeah, but it was getting really good. It was getting really good till my file.
And that's the frustrating
Yeah,
part that I don't think people realize is that when that happens,
yeah,
it's not something that you can just go, "Oh, 107 pages, just poof,
yeah.
and okay, I'll just start back over." It doesn't there's a lot that you might be able to remember parts of
Right,
it,
right.
but as far as, you put so much into those pages
You do
that
a lot.
it's gonna take a bit.
It is. It is. It
It's
really
gonna take
is.
a
So,
bit, and how
yeah,
long is that bit?
yeah, I
Who
know.
knows?
I know. No one knows. No one
And
knows.
especially, you said that there's things that, it's when things come to you that you write.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
you never know when that's gonna happen.
You don't. You don't. So, I wish I could be like an automated an automatic writer and just start writing, but yeah,
Mhm.
doesn't doesn't really work.
Everybody has their own process though, and
Yes.
that's the thing is there is no right or wrong process. It's
Right.
everybody's
Of course.
individual process.
That's right.
And
That is right. But I've always loved writing, and,
mhm.
I am a teacher, and that is my
Mhm.
favorite subject to teach, and, I try to do, like, creative writing with my kids. I try to
Mhm.
get standards in, but I do we always have to do, like, a creative twist to it. So, I'm really successful. I'm very successful in teaching writing. I can get children that are in very basic stages, and they're
Mhm.
writing very well developed stories by the end of the year, so and I've been in charge of I was the writing, lead teacher for several years at my school,
Mhm.
and I also had a club after school. It was called the Creative Writing Club. So,
Oh.
writing is very much yeah, it's very much a part of my life.
So what grades are you
I
teaching?
teach 3rd
3rd
grade.
grade. Oh.
Yes. And you either get the kids that really love to write or you get
Yeah.
the kids that say, I don't wanna write anything," and those are the ones that I spend a lot of time with and conference with and help them, and they end up leaving me really liking, because it's like it's not like a chore, it's like,
Mhm.
we're gonna like one of the stories, we have a time machine that lands in our backyard, and where's this
Oh,
time machine? Where's
nice.
it gonna take us? And then we get to talk about the history. We get to talk, the kids say, "Well, what happened in the 1950s? And if I want to write about the 1950s, what would I see?" So I feel like I can share my gift with these
Mhm.
children, and then it's like, okay, you talk it out, you walk it out, and then you release them, and even your struggling ones tend to have really fun stories to read. So I enjoy it.
So are you currently a teacher
I
and just
am.
getting ready to go back to school then?
Yes, I am. I am. And so that tomorrow. So it's yeah, right around the corner. But and so that's why it's hard. It's hard to just, be a full-time writer and be a
Mhm.
full-time teacher. And I'm raising a little one also that's 7. So there's a lot. I
Ah.
mean, there's a lot. So um I just with free time and being able to just like block everything out just so I can think to create something. It's tough, but
It is, and
mhm,
there is the creative side and then there's the marketing side. So
right.
once you get done writing,
Mhm,
then you've got to turn on the marketing brain
right.
to get
Well,
your
and
book
what
out there.
yeah, and I was gonna say, so for the longest time, I would just sell my books out of the back of my car. I
Mhm.
mean, I would sell to people at the salon, and I talk to I'm not afraid to meet a stranger. So I did a
Mhm.
lot of selling my books that way on my own. And then, about 2 years ago, I started signing up for events,
Mm,
and they were
okay.
craft events, and it's almost like one thing led to another.
Mhm.
So, currently, I have both of my books in 2 bookstores. I just have ventured out, and I
Mhm.
introduced myself, introduced my product, and, I know it's probably hard for some people that, struggle pushing their product, and for the longest
Mhm.
time, I didn't wanna personally do that because I was like, "No, I don't." But then I thought, "You know what? I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time and a lot of effort in the
Yes.
I think my confidence was built,
Mhm.
excuse me, because I've had so many people message me, email me, I mean, from not just where I live, but in different
Mhm.
parts of the country that have said, "Hey, your books made a difference to me." And
Mhm.
I feel like that helps me to push my
Mhm.
product because it's people that are telling me, one lady in Louisiana, her father had died. My book arrived. My book literally arrived the day after he died. And she
Mm.
said, my first book. And she said to be able to pull herself away She said
Mhm.
she couldn't wait for my first story to, to come in the mail, and she used to live in South Carolina, but she said it got her mind off of,
Mhm.
just for a little bit of time, and she said, "And I wanna thank you for that." So there's been so many good things that,
Mhm.
you know and sometimes people say, "I really didn't like that book because it was creepy and it creeped me out." And I'm a widow, and, so I mean, it hits different
Mhm.
people different ways, but you can't not everybody's going to like your product. Um
Well, and I think you hit something that I don't think a lot of people realize
mhm,
is that the reviews, whether or not they do the review on
mhm.
Amazon, Goodreads, Facebook, whatever,
Right.
even if it's just sending a little email to the author makes a huge
It
difference.
does, it does. It really does, and so that's where, like, I started feeling like I think I can go out in my town, and I think I
Mhm.
can go to these different places, and I think I can sell my product, and I can say,
Mhm.
"Hey, look on Amazon." I've got and so it's helped me along the way. And
Mhm.
so authors that I meet, they say, "Oh, I just wrote a book, but there's no way that I could push it to a bookstore." So I've been there. I've been there.
Mhm.
And it takes a lot, but as your confidence is built from
Yeah.
good or bad, whatever, but you take the good with the bad. But when
Oh,
you
most
hear those
definitely.
That's right, and when you hear those good things, those positive things, then it does build your confidence, and it does make you want to sell your product. So, I'm always searching for venues and places. I'm always doing that, and like I said, I love to be out in the public. I love meeting people, whether you buy my book or not. I hope you do, but
Yeah, we
but
always hope that you will, but
right, right,
and that's the biggest thing, since we moved to South Carolina is getting out at events
yes,
and getting to know people,
that's right. Now
saying hello. And it
mhm,
doesn't matter if they buy my book or not.
right.
It's, hey, I just want to say hello. I
That's
just want
it.
to meet people.
That is right. There you
And
go. And
yeah,
then the
so
rest falls in place. I noticed the rest
yes.
when you do it for the fun, and
Mhm.
you don't and I had a wise friend that told me that a long time ago. They said, don't think you're going to get rich off of selling your books. You have to
Right.
look. You have to look, and at the beginning, that's where a lot of authors are. Oh, I wrote this great book, and it's going to sell great. I'm going to be rich, and so you kind of get lost sometimes in that, and then it's
Right.
like no, then reality pulls you back, and it really, but literally, it is the
Mhm.
journey that is really worth it, and as you're on that journey, your books will sell. They will
Yeah.
sell. So, yeah,
They
and that's what I've learned. That's the lesson I've learned from this. If if I've learned
and
any lessons, yeah,
and that's the great thing is that learning that there's a process. It's not, "Oh, I'm gonna print this book
right.
and I'm gonna get rich quick." That doesn't happen.
It doesn't. No, I don't
And
care
it
how good your
doesn't
book is.
matter if
Yeah,
you're independently published, small press, traditional press, it
that's right.
doesn't matter. None of them
That's
are
right.
overnight
100%.
successes.
That's right.
And that's where you not only have to write the book that you're called to write,
Mhm.
but then you have to let people know that you wrote it
Right.
and where you're gonna be selling it. Because if
Right.
you don't tell people, they're not gonna buy it because so many books go up on Amazon. And I actually test this myself because I actually prefer selling my book in person.
I do too.
And I don't direct people to Amazon. And Amazon will go, "Yeah, we know you don't." Because
Well,
I don't have Amazon sales. Why? Because I don't press people to go there. So you have to tell people where
mhm.
you want them to go purchase your book from.
Exactly, exactly. And through the journey too, I have met people, other authors that have shared their successes with me. And that
Mhm.
has been, I mean, that's the one, if I could give any kind of advice, it would be network, with other
Mhm.
authors because there are some great people out there that I mean, I have had several that have been like, "Hey, I have a friend that actually published a book, and she's a
Mhm.
marketer. She markets. That's her degree,
Mhm.
and so she's been steadily getting events up for our little author group. And
Mhm.
so there's one benefit right there. Another benefit is another friend that says, "Hey, have you thought to put your books together and do a bundle pricing?" I
Mhm.
mean, that has been so successful for me, and it's not something I don't maybe I would have thought about that on my own, but I sell more bundled books. I mean,
Mhm.
I do tend to send single, but people, when you have a bundled book, they say,
Yep.
"Oh, wait, there's a few dollars chopped off." And I
Mhm.
like mystery, and my sister likes a beach read, and that's and
Mhm.
so that's what, it's been very positive and beneficial. And I even just, when I meet people, I say, "Hey, what would you rather read? Would you rather read you know, have a fun, feel good, a little bit of drama, or would you
Mhm.
rather have?" And chances are they're going to want one or the other. So I've
Right.
learned how to pitch. I've learned how to pitch my story. And I'm not real pushy. I'm not real pushy, and it's
Mhm.
like, I'm like, have a great day. I hope you do find a book that interests you. I mean, not everybody's going to want my stories. It's okay,
Right.
but still learning how to market, learning how to sell. Um, but like I said, my big piece of advice would be get in with other authors because
Yes.
everybody has great ideas, and just to get together and bounce the ideas off of each other is that's really helped me in my area where I live.
And the one thing that a friend of mine always says is that authors, we are colleagues, not competitors.
Right. And you have to realize that. You have
And
to
there's so-
realize because
it,
some people. Yeah.
and that's the biggest thing is that people are
Yeah.
looking at it as their competitors, and no, we're
Mm-mm.
colleagues.
You can't do that.
Everybody's book is so different, even if
It
they're
is.
writing the same genre.
That's right. That's right.
Everything's so different that it just, you really don't, you're not competing with somebody else, it's a
Mm-mm.
colleague.
You're right.
And but one thing too that I just learned is the pre-order thing, which we set up now. um we have over on Baventi, we now have pre-orders for some of our authors. So um that's a new thing, that even though we've been doing this, it's a new thing. We put together a Facebook group just for the event. Also, brand new thing. you,
Very
you
positive.
never quit learning,
No,
even as even as you coordinate the events.
you're right, you're right. There's always something to be learned, and, you do have to keep positive. I mean, I did meet I'll share a story real quick. I met a lady who had just, she had just published her book. It was this past December, and she was at a fall festival, and I went up and I introduced myself, and it was her whole her persona
Mhm.
was real negative. And she said, "No one has bought my book. No one's going to buy my book." And so I felt really bad. I felt really bad for her. And I said, "Did you just publish this book?" And she goes, "Yes." And she goes, "I don't know why I even wrote it. I thought it was helping people." And it was like it was something like for people that have migraine. It was some like
Mm, mhm.
science based book, and it had whatever it was some kind of illness, and she had just gone through it. And I said, "No, no, no." I said, "You need to share your story." I said, "There are going to be people that are going to buy your book." And I had to help her. She was just so, I think she was very upset because the event had gone on for a few hours. People had just passed by her. They looked at it and said,
Mhm.
"Oh," and put it down. um, and I told her, I said, "No," I said, "You have to get your story out there." I said, "There are
Yep.
going to be hundreds, maybe hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people that have whatever this." I'm sorry, I can't remember what it was, but
Right. Yeah.
she was so, and I thought to myself, you're like, you're not even giving yourself a chance. And
Yeah.
you just started and you're not even, and you can't have that mindset. You cannot have that mindset. You will be defeated. You will feel defeated. I know because I was. And I
Mhm.
thought, and I kind of quit selling for a few years. I was like, I kind of same thing. I got really busy and I was
Mhm.
like, this is going nowhere. No one's buying it. But like I said, something in my head was like, you know what? Start getting out there. Start going to the bookstore.
Mhm.
So it's like, kick me out on the curb, get me out there. And this was, like I said, this was going on about 3 years ago. And
Yeah.
really haven't stopped since. I'm always looking online. I'm always looking in my area. So you can't self defeat, and it does happen. I don't know if you felt that way, but
Yeah, I have felt that way. I've had that with actually my first book title, and
mm-hmm.
where I've actually pulled it off the table. And
Mm,
and it's like you feel really defeated, but then someone comes along and buys your book and you're like, someone bought my book. And it's that feeling, and I don't care
yeah,
how many you sell.
right.
Every time someone buys your book, you're inside doing this little happy dance going,
You are.
someone just bought my book, someone
You
just bought my
are.
book.
You
And and
you
it
are.
so it's like, yeah, every time you that a reader buys an author's book, trust me, they're doing a little happy dance, whether it's virtually in their brain or whether
That's
it's
right.
they're actually doing it physically, they're doing the happy dance
That's
because
right.
it
That's right.
it is so awesome to
It,
have that validation,
it
especially when
is
it's someone you don't know.
exactly. Well, that's the lady with the yoga class. I had just met her the day that I was selling my book at the bookstore,
Mhm.
and she had my email because I have business cards, and
Yep.
a few days later she emailed me with that what she had said, and she's
Yep.
like, "I like it so much." She's like, "But daggone it, I missed my yoga class." I was like, I said, "That's not good for her, but it was good to hear." And she didn't have to email me. I didn't know this
Yeah.
woman from anybody, and she didn't have to pick up my card, and she didn't have to email me. So, and that's another thing. Like, it's great to have those business cards because you never know when someone is going
Yep.
to just send you a message with your, to your text or to your email. So that brightened my day. I was like, oh, maybe I hope she's not mad that she missed her yoga class, but it made me feel good because I was like, well, that was my target. That was what
Yeah.
I wanted to accomplish.
And that's the biggest thing is that, anyone that's watching this and you've read a
Mhm.
book, I don't care whose book it is,
Right.
send the author a little note that says, "Hey, I loved your book." It doesn't have to be anything big. It can
That's
just
right.
be, "Hey, I enjoyed your book."
Right. And give reviews. Give
Yes.
reviews.
Oh, please review.
Reviews. They don't ever want to do reviews. Very few.
Reviews are the hardest part to get.
They are. And that's what's kind of sad because I have sold, I can guarantee, I don't know about my first book, but my Fate Revealed, I have sold probably close to 900 copies of that book.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't see the reviews for it, but I get the emails and I get, a girl sent a picture to me. Well, she's a friend from the past, but it took her years to buy my book. She just sent a picture. It was on a table at
Mhm.
a pool area in Florida, and she's like, "I'm reading your book." she, and I mean, there's a
Well, hey,
picture
that's
of it.
awesome that it was on a pool table.
It was on a pool table, and but the funny thing is, now she did give me a review, but it was cool because she left the picture with my book on the table, not a pool table, but a table at a pool, a
Yeah.
little, like at the pool, and so it just looked cool sitting on that table, and I was like, and
Yeah.
you could tell it was like, she's in Florida and she's like, I'm finishing up your book. I brought it with me on vacation. And so it's cool to see that. It is so
Yep.
cool to see that. And she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to. She didn't have to send a picture. She did, but she did. And it meant a lot. It does
Yeah.
mean a lot to the
And
authors.
that's the thing is that it means so much to authors when readers leave a review, even if it's just as simple as, "I enjoyed the book,"
That's right. Or just click four
or
stars, three
"thumbs up."
stars, 5 stars, whatever you.
Yeah, thumbs up,
Yeah.
It just
Yeah,
leave a smiley face.
that's right. That's right, that's right.
It
I'm
doesn't
right
have
with
to
there with
be
you.
something fancy or,
Mhm.
any of that. So, yeah,
Exactly, exactly.
but this has been so much fun. I'm so
Mhm.
glad that you took time out of your day just before going back to school.
Oh, yeah. It takes my mind off of that. Takes my mind off of it.
And I so look forward to meeting you in person in October.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. You've really, like, got me, like, really excited about this event. Just sharing
Awesome.
all the things about it. I'm looking very much forward to it and meeting all the fellow authors and start another journey, in a
Yeah.
different area. In a different So thank you.
Well, thank you, and I will see you in October.
I'll see you in October. Bye-bye.